Hey everybody, I am reporting from the pool at the KOA by the Petrified Forest in Arizona, but this video that you're about to see takes you back to yesterday and gives you insight. And we went to Carlsbad Caverns National Park and had a delightful time in the caverns. Just wait till you see some of that footage. There's also a lot of footage of us just hanging out in the car. Enjoy! Alright everybody, we are getting back with you about the gazelle-antelope debate. So, gazelles are a type of antelope, so that's pretty cool. And you can tell what type of antelope they are based on their horns, whether it's like an oryx or a wildebeest or a gazelle. These are all types of antelopes. Who knew? We do now. Huh.
Knowledge.
Knowledge is so cool. Impress your friends with that animal fact, and here's another. Hey everybody, we're getting back with you on the buffalo bison debate. So apparently us Americans, we use the two pretty much interchangeably, and we really shouldn't do that because buffalo have the horns that look like a mustache, as Natalie called it.
Yes.
Very, very distinctive. And bison just have the other little, do you like my little horns?
The tiny horns.
The tiny horns. Also,
so we killed the bison.
We killed the bison. And also, true buffalo are native to Asia and Africa, while the bison is native to North America.
Big facts.
Big facts. Fun facts. Facts are so fun.
So fun.
So now we have
irrigation.
There's irrigation happening right out there. So now you can pull out that fun fact at the next dinner party you go to, and you can be like, okay, but I bet you don't know the difference between a bison and a buffalo.
You know we will. We'll definitely use it.
We will, and then we'll also be like, but you don't know the difference between a gazelle and an antelope.
Oh,
gotcha.
No.
So show them Natalie.
It's a bunch of cows. But that kind of looks like it could be a dairy farm too.
So we keep seeing these cow farms. And I can tell a dairy farm from the place that Natalie doesn't like me to talk about. And but it is kind of sad to see them all herded together in these big kind of like legs. I don't know. It's sad. Poor cows. Alright. That's it. That's all I got. Those are your fun facts for right now. We just arrived.
Alright.
Here's the sign.
The sign.
Now we are going to continue up the mountain and on yonder into the wilderness. Nature is so pretty. Nature is so pretty.
Adventures requires one.
Hey everybody, I just want you to know that Natalie is crying at the beautiful sight of Carlsbad National Park.
And the beautiful Kieran.
And the beautiful Kieran. Yes, there are actual tears coming from the Natalie eyes.
I'm trying to blink them back because I did my face today.
It's pretty cute. Here is some more of the pretty nature. Now, we're going to go into the caverns. And I took so much footage in there, and I promise I'm only giving you like a solid third of it, because while looking at it right there, being in the atmosphere, being in there for hours felt like no time at all. But if you had to watch hours-long footage of someone's opinion of a dark room, I'd be deeply sorry for you. So you can always just skip this part and say you watched it all, and I'll fully believe you, except if I quiz you, then you'll have to say something, and you may or may not be right, but who knows? Good luck. Our time ticket has been called, and we are on our way to the caverns. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! We're in the caverns, and they're beautiful. Here we are at the Devil's Spring Del Diablo. Now we're in the Devil's Den. Oh yeah. This is it, y'all. This is his den. We are so far from the Earth's crust surface. We are so far from it, but this is so cool. The Earth is so cool. You can pause the video to read this in depth if you want. I'm trying to get it perfectly in focus. But this is the largest known natural limestone chamber in the Western Hemisphere. Natalie's filming too. Wow. Look how gorgeous. It just keeps on going. She just keeps on going.
National Geographic Society.
Here, you guys can read about the historic exploration if you desire, but the really cool thing is over here. This old ladder that just goes down. Caves are cool. Caves are cool. Caves are cool. One last cavern thing, I promise. But this is Mirror Lake. And the writing is written upside down, so you have to read it in the reflection. How cool is that? Okay, I know I said I was done with the caverns, but with the footage of the caverns, but we are 754 feet below the earth. That's so wild. That's so wild. No wonder my ears hurt a little, but this has been so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. So then we thankfully got to take an elevator all those 700 feet of, and each time we passed a level of 100 feet, it like counted down. It was pretty cool. I had to sit down because my ears were like, which is valid if you're going rapidly up in 90 seconds, 700 feet. Whoa, can you imagine doing that in water? Because I can't. My ears hurt at like 8 feet. It was so beautiful. I cannot express how happy I am that we got to see that. And that was a backup plan for something we had originally intended to do, which I'll talk about in just a second. But I didn't really know about that when I was originally planning this trip. And also, like COVID threw a loop and everything. And COVID actually closed where we were going to go. But this was open and it was the best decision. I just feel so happy that we went there. I feel like I saw something just so unique and beautiful, and I can't imagine ever seeing something like that again, because that was once in a lifetime. I hope I might get to see it again. I might have to share that with more people because everyone needs to see it.
And she yawned.
Here you have some of the beautiful New Mexico scenery. Beautiful. We're headed actually into Texas again. Maps are weird. Geography is weird. It makes sense if you see it on a map, I promise. We're headed into Texas again because we like time traveling. Time traveling, that's how you say that. Well, I'm always yawning during this stuff.
So sleepy.
I'm not sleepy. Anyways, caverns were beautiful and excellent. We had some pretty good Mexican pulled pork too, and that was pretty delicious as well. Also, this is a good time to say that we Googled the podcast that we're listening to, the Black Tapes, and it actually is fiction.
With real influences and like real stories and a lot of like the facts and things.
Inspired by. So what was given to me in the name of nonfiction is actually fiction, and I feel much better now. Yeah, it's pretty spooky. It's really good. We're on episode 8. I'm gonna yawn again. Oh my gosh. Huh. Yeah, no, it's really good. It's about this journalist who's writing this podcast. Did you stop?
No.
Oh. The journalist who's writing her podcast and her producers. And she is following different paranormal activity based on this man's research. And it's basically following the man, like she's like interviewing him and going through his black tapes of unsolved cases because he won't believe in the paranormal at all. Like he's like the hugest skeptic, has a whole institute of like skepticism. And she's just like going along to just kind of like figure it out. But there's also now like a murder mystery that kind of like involves him. It's really good. Definitely recommend it if you're interested in podcasts that kind of seem a little bit more like audiobooks but without the commitment and come in different seasons. This is really good.
And episodes.
Like kind of like watching TV instead of a movie, if that's what you want to do sometime on a ride. Also in my podcast recommendations, I'm going to throw out 36 questions.
Yes.
It is a 2-part, I think it's 3.
No, it's 3.
It's a 3-part, 3-hour musical podcast written by Jonathan Groff, well, helped write by Jonathan Groff. And he also stars in it. There's 2 characters. And Jonathan Groff is one of the most talented Broadway actors, in my personal opinion. And it is based upon the 36 questions to ask a stranger to fall in love. And it's about this couple, and the husband just found out that his wife has actually been using a fake name and fake persona this whole time, and he doesn't actually know who she is. And it's about the struggle that they go through and trying to figure out trust and life and the separation and what unifies two people. And it's really well done. It's done all, Natalie, the main girl in the podcast, she records everything. And so it's done through like her recordings. So she's like talking to herself. She's like, all right, Natalie, and like talks to herself. It's pretty funny, romantic,
heartbreaking.
If you're just like some musical romantic drama, I definitely recommend checking it out. I loved it, but then again, I'm a big musical theater junkie. So there's my podcast recommendations for today. I have another podcast recommendation that I'll get to later because I'm going to make Natalie listen to season 1 of it after we finish season 1 of the Black Tapes before we listen to season 2 of the Black Tapes. Alright, so we're in New Mexico heading to Texas, and we will check back in with you later.
And she yawned.
Here you have some of the beautiful New Mexico scenery. Beautiful. We're headed actually into Texas again. Maps are weird. Geography is weird. It makes sense if you see it on a map, I promise. We're headed into Texas again because we like time traveling. That's how you say that. Well, I'm always yawning during this stuff.
So sleepy.
I'm not sleepy. Anyways, caverns were beautiful and excellent. We had some pretty good Mexican pulled pork too, and that was pretty delicious as well. Also, this is a good time to say that we Googled the podcast that we're listening to, the Black Tapes, and it actually is fiction.
With real influences and like real stories and a lot of like the facts and things.
Inspired by. So what was given to me in the name of nonfiction is actually fiction, and I feel much better now. Yeah, it's pretty spooky. It's really good. We're on episode 8. I'm gonna yawn again. Oh my gosh. Huh. Yeah, no, it's really good. It's about this journalist who's writing this podcast. Did you stop?
No.
Oh. the journalist who's writing her podcast and her producers, and she is following different paranormal activity based on this man's research, and it's basically following the man, like she's like interviewing him and going through his black tapes of unsolved cases, because he won't believe in the paranormal at all. Like, he's like the hugest skeptic, has a whole institute of like skepticism, and she's just like going along to just kind of like figure it out. But there's also now like a murder mystery that kind of like involves him. It's really good. Definitely recommend it if you're interested in podcasts that kind of seem a little bit more like audiobooks, but without the commitment, and come in different seasons. This is really good.
And episodes.
Like, kind of like watching TV instead of a movie, if that's what you want to do sometime on a ride. Also, in my podcast recommendations, I'm going to throw out 36 questions.
Yes.
It is a two-part, I think it's three.
No, it's 3.
It's a 3-part, 3-hour musical podcast written by Jonathan Groff. Well, helped write by Jonathan Groff. And he also stars in it. There's 2 characters. And Jonathan Groff is one of the most talented Broadway actors, in my personal opinion. And it is based upon the 36 questions to ask a stranger to fall in love. And it's about this couple, and the husband just found out that his wife has actually been using a fake name and fake persona this whole time, and he doesn't actually know who she is. And it's about the struggle that they go through and trying to figure out trust and life and the separation and what unifies two people. And it's really well done. It's done all, Natalie, the main girl in the podcast, she records everything, and so it's done through like her recordings. So she's like talking to herself, she's like, all right, Natalie, and like talks to herself. It's pretty funny, romantic, heartbreaking. If you're just like some musical romantic drama, I definitely recommend checking it out. I loved it, but then again, I'm a big musical theater junkie. So there's my podcast recommendations for today. I have another podcast recommendation that I'll get to later, because I'm going to make Natalie listen to season 1 of it after we finish season 1 of the Black Tapes, before we listen to season 2 of the Black Tapes. Alright, so we're in New Mexico heading to Texas, and we will check back in with you later. While Guadalupe National Park is closed, so we will not be visiting there, that didn't stop us from seeing Guadalupe Peak. Look how beautiful she is. Hi. Natalie came and stood in my shade. It's gorgeous here, and let me pull up the little plaque about Guadalupe Peak so that you can pause and read it if you want. Here's the plaque. Pretty cool stuff is here. They found a ton of stuff, a lot of interesting facts, and a lot of interesting little tidbits of kind of unknown Texas history is here on this plaque. Feel free to pause and read. But right now, I'm going to show you this beautiful view. Just a view of this overlook. All right, we're at the last stop of the day before we land for the night in a little bit. I know what the stop is, but I bet you could not guess what I'm standing in front of. It's a place, a building shaped like a UFO. That's what I'm standing in front of. How cool is that? It's now a real estate office, but it used to be a house. How cool would that be to live here? It looks like a UFO. It's got even like those little things on top. So cool.
Are you kidding? I feel like you're doing this on purpose now.
go get margaritas in Mexico, but then we realized that A, we don't know anything about the pandemic.
I said I would go.
Natalie was like, I'll turn around, I'll go to Mexico, and I was like, I have too much anxiety to go to Mexico right now, maybe next time. But, so we didn't realize we were so close to Mexico. And so we're driving, dropped my phone. So we're driving from El Paso up towards where White Sand is. And me with my terribleness in geography, it's one of the only tests I ever got a B on in high school, didn't really realize that El Paso was half like over the border, half not. And there's a border patrol checkpoint, and just because I'm filming, I haven't yawned all day.
That's a lie! You were yawning when we left the park.
That was when I was filming.
And I was like, do you want me to drive? And you, no, it was after.
I yawned.
I was like, do you want me to drive? And you were like, no, I'm good.
I was. But now I'm not driving. Natalie's driving. Thank you, Natalie. So we passed a border patrol checkpoint, and he was like, hi, what's your nationality? Like, where are you from? And he's like,
smiling like, U.S.
I
Here
go,
it says.
America? Like in like the most like naive way, like, America. And then Natalie looks at me and goes, United States. And I'm like, the United States? That's where I'm from. That's it. He asked me what our citizenship was. That's what it was. And Natalie said United States, and I said, America?
It's in the name. So, it's valid. But we were ready to get our passports out. We have them because we're going to Canada for Niagara Falls. So I was like, alright, I guess we're about to get them out.
I was like, I don't like margaritas, and I don't know what's happening in Mexico. So, not today. But next time, Natalie and I...
the North American road trip.
Right, next time Natalie and I are on the border, we're getting margs in Mexico.
Or something similar.
Or something similar. Maybe we'll split a marg, you can drink it, and then I'll get something else.
That's true.
And we'll take cute pictures with it for the Instagram.
100% more honestly, we just get a Corona. That'll be your...
Oh, I'll get a Corona, you get a marg. It'll be great.
Yeah.
See, we have it all planned out now for when we go to Mexico. If you ever feel like you do stupid things, just remember that I yawn every time I start filming, and that I told someone my citizenship was America. This is it, y'all. This is the girl that won the research grant. In the flesh. I promise I am smart. Just not maybe like in the moment.
I testify that she is smart.
Thanks, Nat. Honors student. Most of my friends are in the honors college, and whenever we do dumb stuff like that, we always go, honors college, because we are book smart people who don't know how to handle ourselves in real life situations. But this trip has been a great learning experience for that. And the next time someone asks me my citizenship, I will probably not answer America.
Maybe.
Can't promise that one.
You're a cheeky United States in front of it.
So, we were joking because last night when Natalie was driving, it became a torrential rainstorm. And so tonight it looked like we were driving into a torrential rainstorm too. I'll show you in a second. And there was lightning like far away, but we're in the place that we thought was a torrential downpour from far away. And it's dust. Like, the clouds are there, but the clouds aren't raining. What the really thick things are in the air, why it's so hard to see, is because of dust. It's really cool. Those mountains were clear earlier. Like, super clear.
Like minutes ago.
Wow. There's Pete, our solar-powered dancing dino.